Hello everyone, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the Mugello circuit for the final races of the Ferrari Challenge season 2017. The championships are all done and dusted. The official racing is finished. What we have now is 3 races to determine the world champions across all our categories. This is where we are then in Mugello, about an hour from Bologna, about an hour from Florence. Wonderful circuit, some 5.245 kilometers, 14 turns, 6 of them left, 8 of them are right-handers. It's a technical circuit where you're up and down and turning the steering wheel jolly near for the entire lap, with the exception of the very long start-finish straight, which is where our camera is positioned right now. Some dark cloud moving across. It's supposed to be a sunny day, but this early in the day it's a mere 10 degrees outside. The track temperature is 20 degrees. And the first race that we are going to see this Sunday is the world final for the 458 category of cars. So the 458 Evo, which of course was the Ferrari Challenge car last year, has been allowed onto the grid for the Ferrari Challenge series across North America, Asia Pacific and Europe for this year. And they have their own separate classification for this world final race, which I'm guessing is the last time that we will see the 458s in the Ferrari Challenge in any guise whatsoever. Center of your picture is the all-yellow car there of Holger Harmsen, but the pole position goes the way of Joseph Rubo, who is the 458 champion for North America. Alongside him, it's Naveen Rao. They were both part of the glittering prize-giving ceremonies at the gala dinner, which was held in Florence last night. What a splendid affair that was. Tyre pressures being adjusted on the Joseph Rubo car then, just ahead of the start of this 30-minute race. I call it the Gold Roof race. It is the race for the World Championship. And it's the pride of all the regions, because it's the Asia Pacific, North American and European drivers all together. The best of the European drivers is the Turkish driver Galip Atar, who has taken the 458 title for Europe. And here is the grid in full for you. Joseph Rubo and Naveen Rao then go on the front row. Then it's Martin Berry, who is the champion for Asia Pacific. Then it's Boyd, Galip Atar and Holger Harmsen, 2 European drivers together on row 3 of the grid. Both of them very feisty racers. Keep an eye on them. Paredes, Arroyo, then it's Kondo, Wong, Chen, Locke and Kaminsky occupying rows 6 forward. Then it's Zhao, Lisa Clark, Wong, Perescoya and Penovich then with Piavanetti bringing up the rear of the grid if the car makes it onto the grid. And at the moment, Piavanetti is not on the grid. Whether the car will start from the pit lane or whether the car won't race. Olivia Beretta is down there talking to Joseph Rubo. Olivia Beretta, one of the official Ferrari GT drivers, and Beppe Scanetti alongside him there. And Beppe Scanetti is the man that's charged with driving the safety car, himself a former Ferrari Challenge champion. And of course, Olivia Beretta still very much a competitive GT racing driver. Naveen Rao then, who's had a good weekend this weekend, representing Ferrari of San Diego. He too part of the glittering prize-giving celebrations last night in the Stazione Leopolda in Florence. Magnificent evening. Crowds beginning to arrive to enjoy this final day of the Finale Mondiale, a celebration of everything that's great about Ferrari, and of course double celebration because of course the 70th anniversary of Ferrari as well. Looking at the Tamotsu Kondo car now, the 822 machine driving in the Asia Pacific series. And there, look, all the victories across the Asia Pacific driver Martin Berry's car. Martin Berry going from P3 on the grid. So 30-minute world final then, as is always the case in the Ferrari Challenge. It'll be a rolling start. Cars will have one rolling lap. The 458 was introduced in 2011 as the car for the Ferrari Challenge and then upgraded in 2014. It became the Evo car with that big rear wing at the back to offer additional downforce. And Mugello then is the scene of the World Finals this year, the Finale Mondiale. And as you can see from that postcard, the region is beautiful in its own right, and the paddock here at Mugello packed with lots of things for everyone to enjoy, including a extraordinary display of Formula One cars. Of course, our Formula One clientia here and the XX programs as well. And there is Fabienne Volven then, the first lady ever to win a race in the Ferrari Challenge. She will be competing in the World Finals a little bit later on. She drives for the Octane 126 team, which is the same team that has put Galip Attar P5 on the grid. So doubtless down there just to wish Galip Attar the best of luck ahead of this World Final race. Hublot safety car then, as I mentioned, driven by Beppe Scanetti, which will be away in just a few moments' time. We're 3 minutes away from the start of the race. So, as I mentioned then, the XX programs, the F1 clientia are also here at this Finale Mondiale, and here's a little taster. So a little taster of some of the F1 clientia and XX programs drivers that are here. Interestingly, last night at the glittering Finale Mondiale Gala dinner, the XXK Evo was launched. Stunning looking car, that is. So final preparations been made on the grid then for this 30-minute race. The World Final in the 458 class of cars, and the last time that we will see the 458s in anger on a racetrack as part of the Ferrari Challenge programs. Scene is set. The 5.245 kilometre Mugello circuit awaits our drivers as supporters leave the grid then. And there the Scuderia Ferrari Club, the official Ferrari passion. The heart is in the main grandstand there, as you can see. It's local time exactly 9 o'clock or 1 minute to, which means it's jolly early. Not looking for any sympathy for the time that we have to be on the air here, but it is very early, and very early for these 458 drivers, as we're on board with the Hublot safety car then roaring away then on the formation lap for the start of this 30-minute race for the 458 World Final. And just a few seconds before the cars will be released, and once again, the starting grid and the first page of that, Joseph Rubo, Naveen Rao, then it's Martin Berry, then it's Boyd and Galip Attar and Holger Harmsen going on the third row of the grid representing Europe. At the moment, we would say that everything is favouring North America for taking the World Final. 2 cars on the front row of the grid, and the best of the Asia Pacific drivers is Martin Berry, who goes from P3 on the grid. So cars released then on their way on this formation lap, and last time we'll see the 458 Evo racing then in the Ferrari Challenge programs. So they make the way round the San Donato turn, heading up towards Luco and Poggio Secco, then the chicane. All the social media at the top of the screen, and there the man charged with starting the race on the starting gantry there. So from Poggio Secco, they go into the Materazzi turn and the Borgo San Lorenzo, this chicane that you're looking at right now. And there in the 622 car is Holger Harmsen ahead of the Paredes Arroyo car. So the championship's all sealed, done and dusted. There's nothing other than the pride of the gold roof to race for in this race. It is the world final. We bring together the top competitors across North America, Asia Pacific and Europe as well to determine who is the very best driver across the regions who have competed in the 458 this year alongside the 488, which is the primary challenge car. And the Hublot safety car then picks them up. They'll be asked to grid up when they come off the back of the Corinteo turn, which is turn number 12. And through the Biondetti chicane, which is turn number 13. You'll see the marshal on the right-hand side of your picture that will be holding up the board. There they are, as if by magic, holding the boards that say, come on drivers, grid up, side by side behind the safety car. The safety car will peel off into the pit lane, and then the race will be on. So they're heading up towards the Puccini Turn now, which is the left-hander, where you run downhill to this magnificent start-finish straight, which is where we're situated live here in Mugello, bringing you all the action from the 3 world final races across the Ferrari Challenge, with the magnificent Ferrari show to come a little bit later on, where we'll see Formula One cars and the GT racers out in action. The music builds the anticipation to the green light. The lights go green. This car will have done some 210 races in anger in the Ferrari Challenge, and it's about to start its last race as they all head towards turn number 1, the San Donato turn. So Joseph Rubo on the inside line to his outside. You can see Galip Attar already making moves up the order. So too is Holger Harmsen. Galip Attar on the inside there makes up another place right at the start of this race. So the European honours now in P4 as it's Rubo, Berry, Rao, and then Galip Attar ahead of Boyd and Holger Harmsen, who's P6. So Galip Attar then for the Octane 126 team, driving for the European Series, making up a couple of places right at the start of this race then. Very patriotic Turkish racer, but the race is being led by Joseph Rubo, who already is built up some 6/10 of margin over Martin Berry, who's another driver that had a phenomenal start and relegated Navin Rao to P3. The start is under investigation, whether someone overtook before the start-finish line, and whether they will be in trouble for that. Of course, we'll bring you all the information as we get it. So Joseph Rubo leads from Martin Berry, then it's Navin Rao, who is P3. Galip Attar, the best of the European drivers, is P4, ahead of Boyd, and then it's Holger Harmsen, who's running in P6 at the moment. So opening stages of this world final race with the pride of the nations up for grabs then. And it's being led by the North American 458 champion, Joseph Rubo, who, as I said, has built up some 7/10 of margin over Martin Berry. Then it's Navin Rao, and then Galip Attar, the best of the European drivers at the moment. Delighted to welcome alongside me James Collado, top Ferrari GT driver, who is here. And some 210 races, more than 210 races, these 458 Evo cars have done, and this is probably the last time that we'll see them in a Ferrari Challenge race, James.
Yes, good morning everyone. Started with a 458, one of my favourite cars of all time. Just amazing, brilliant sound, and obviously one of Ferrari's greatest in its history.
And then, of course, it got developed back in 24. It became the Evo car with that big rear wing at the back to aid downforce. And actually, it really changed the characteristics of the car a bit.
Yeah, basically just a little bit more grip, a little bit more nimble around the corners, a little bit easier to drive. So yeah, nicely developed, and still a really fast car today. I mean, he's still competing at a high level, and yeah.
Just hearing from race control then that Holger Harmsen, the German driver, who was really rather too eager at the start, is going to get a drive-through penalty for jump start. So he's not going to figure in the honours then for the World Final and the World Championships. But Joseph Rubo under some pressure now from Martin Berry. Now what we have here, it's the North American 458 champion and the Asia Pacific 458 champion who are battling together. Martin Berry having got past Naveen Rao. A reminder to you that drive-through penalty for Holger Harmsen. Galipatar is still running in P4. He's the best of the European racers, but it's a real intercontinental battle between North America and Asia Pacific at the moment, because it's Joseph Rubo who's leading from Martin Berry. There, the treble 8 car of Martin Berry around this Mugello circuit. The pride of the nations up for grabs then, and James Collado, a very, very successful season for you, race winner. And of course, in just a week's time, you will be hoping to be first to the checkered flag once again.
Yes, thank you. It's been great so far. Other than Le Mans, we've done really well. We're leading the championship, leading the World Championship, both in the manufacturers and drivers. So we're in a strong position. 2 races left. One being China next week. So somewhere we struggle a little bit, but we're going to do our best. We're going to push as hard as we can. Ferrari and ourselves, we're going to put full effort, maximum attack into these 2 races and see where we finish up.
You say China, that's of concern. Bahrain, a better track for you and the car?
Yeah, we seem to struggle at China because of the long straight. That's one of our weaknesses this year, but like you said, Bahrain for us is really, really good. It's normally quite warm, which suits the Ferrari quite well.
Yes.
And we're really good on tyre wear, which is something really key in the World Endurance Championship at the moment. So anything can happen, as you see in these races now. So we've just got to keep focused, keep a head down, and just go for it.
Well, my apologies, I got it wrong with regards to the drive-through penalty. Holger Harmsen will never forgive me for that. It's Tamatsu Kondo that has got the drive-through penalty, not Holger Harmsen. So Holger Harmsen running in P6 there. That Lise G car from Germany, as you can see, it's absolutely fine. He's doing well. He's P6. Here's a replay of the start then, as they crossed the timing line and went into turn number 1. Such a long start-finish straight here, and 3 abreast at times as they rise that little crest now, heading into turn number 1. And Joseph Rubo and Martin Berry was the man that was very much on a mission. He'd got the inside line, of course, and Naveen Rao hung out on the outside. And there you can see some of the anxiety and the tension in the pit lane as well. But Joseph Rubo leading currently ahead of Martin Berry. There's almost nothing in it, though. And there they are, and Naveen Rao P3, Galipatar, the best of the European racers, who is a little way back in P4. Is a couple of seconds down on Naveen Rao at the moment. For these drivers, this is pride, isn't it? You know, the championships are all done and dusted, James. Does that take a little bit of the pressure away? And I'm not saying this race is just for fun, but of course you do want to win it for your region, don't you?
Of course you do, yeah. I mean, they'll still be nervous at the start line, still a bit under pressure, but it's always really nice in a situation where, you know, it doesn't really matter on paper, and they can just go out, enjoy themselves, probably keep the cars clean, and just end on a big high. So, yeah.
Well, at the moment, Joseph Rubo doing a very, very good job here. You and a number of the other drivers that we've had alongside us in commentary have said that this Mugello circuit, which is, you're forever on the steering wheel, with the exception of the start-finish straight. You know, you don't have time to relax, James. You know, you're really on it for the entire lap.
Yeah, it's extremely high speed, lots of change of direction. Like you said, other than the long straight over the start and finish line, you're constantly turning left and right. And high-speed corners really do take it out of you physically. So the only chance they really get a breather is over the start and finish. But even that's got a little crest over it. You can see someone running wide there.
Oh, yes. And it's hard on the cars, hard on you as a physical challenge, as well as Sky Chen getting past Tamotsu Kondo there. So very early stages, very early in the day, but already lots of spectators here to enjoy this. The first race of 3 across this final day of the Finale Mondiale. Of course, all the celebrations last night at the gala dinner, where all the champions from across the nations were celebrated, and it was a great affair. And Joseph Rubo then 5/10 over Martin Berry, and Martin Berry himself is only about 6/10 ahead of Naveen Rao, who is running in P3 at the moment. So it's North America P1 and P3 with Asia Pacific P2, and Galapatar just a little way down in P3 at the moment. So whether Galapatar can pull anything out, but Galapatar himself under a little bit of pressure now from John Boyd, and of course Holger Harmsen there in the all-yellow car is another one of the European racers. Galapatar has taken the title for the European Series for the Octane 126 team. Interestingly, James, that car, the car that Galapatar is driving, was actually the championship winning car last year with Bjorn Grossman at the wheel of that. So the car has got some pedigree, hasn't it?
Obviously a good one, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Galapatar then driving that. We're hoping to see him in a 488 next year when the season commences at the Monza circuit. Not too long to wait. March in 2018. The calendar already set for next season, and very much looking forward to that. So the first third of the race done and dusted, with Joseph Rubo now really stretching his legs at with a margin of some 1.5 seconds over Martin Berry, the Asia Pacific driver, who's P2. Naveen Rao running in P3. So the 458 drivers who have competed across the regions, whether it's North America, Asia Pacific, or in Europe, where the 458 car has been part of the lineup with, of course, the all-new 488 GTE, which is the primary car in the Ferrari Challenge now. First time that we've ever had a turbo car in the Ferrari Challenge. We're watching the battle at the moment for P12 at the moment. Ming Xiao trying to chase down Kaminsky ahead of him in the 771 car. It's Asia Pacific versus North America in that little battle, and one comes into the pit lane, just didn't quite pick up who that was. It is Tommaso Kondo to serve his drive-through penalty, of course. So Kondo will serve his drive-through penalty, and that will put him very nearly to the back of the pack, I would suggest, when he returns. So jump start with a rolling start, James. It's never forgivable, but it's actually, you can understand sometimes when why and when it happens.
Yeah, it's easily done actually, because it's difficult, especially when you've got a lot of cars in front, to judge the gap that you need to have before the lights go green. So ideally, if the cars in front slow down, he should have slowed down, but obviously he's been a bit keen and he's kept it nailed. So right. Last race, so you might as well go for it. But yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. Probably gained an advantage, and that's why he's got the drive through.
I've even seen drivers penalised when you have a standing start because they're slightly, literally millimetres over where they should be in their grid boxes. I mean, it's something that, bear in mind, the data is available to the stewards, isn't it? And you're never going to get away with it, are you?
No, not at all. And, a lot of people really do take the mick in that respect and kind of, can really get an advantage. But a lot of the guys, standing starts are a completely different story. But yeah, rolling starts, they need to be kind of in line, and just for safety itself as well. So yeah, that's
Holger Harmsen's partner then watching on as the race unfolds. Joseph Rubo seemingly quite comfortable. The one that is perhaps under a little bit of pressure now in this race is Martin Berry, who's the margin from Martin Berry back to Naveen Rao is reducing slightly as Naveen Rao turns the wick up now to try and wrestle away that P2 place away from Martin Berry, which would make it double bubble for North America, because at the moment Martin Berry is the Asia Pacific driver that's sandwiching in P2. The P1 and P3 places held by North American drivers, and there you can see just into the back of the picture is the gold-fronted Galapatar car, which is running in P4. So Rubo from Berry, from Rao, then Galapatar, John Boyd, then Holger Harmsen, and running in P7, it's Paredes Arreo. All the social media at the top of the screen for you. And Holger Hansson trying to chase down John Boyd ahead of him, but there we can see the Galapatar car then. He's sealed the championship for the European 458 category, where it hasn't been quite so heavily populated in the European series with the older 458 Evo cars as it has in North America and Asia Pacific, by dint of the fact that you can see we've actually only got 2 European drivers in this race as opposed to the other 16 drivers that are made up of Asia Pacific and North America as well. So James Collado, as this finale Mondiale weekend, we get to Sunday. We've got a brilliant Ferrari show for everyone to enjoy this afternoon. I'm assuming, sir, that you will be taking part in that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's normally an amazing atmosphere, especially here in Mugello. You've got so many fans on the grandstand, so it's always a very special moment. I'll be driving a couple of cars, which will be fun. So looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. It's always a good laugh.
And do you find it, as a professional racing driver and a very successful professional racing driver who you and I first met back in those dim and distant days when you were in British Formula 3, do you, at weekends like this, are you just itching to get in the car rather than all the PR and press and media stuff that you have to do?
You're making me feel old, you know. Yeah, I always said to myself, that the novelty, if the feeling where I don't wake up in the morning, I don't want to drive, if that ever happened, then I'd probably stop. But my feeling to drive race cars, especially Ferraris, is just as strong as when I first started in Formula 3 many years ago.
I was unfair there.
So I absolutely love racing. I love driving, and yeah, as you know, we're doing really, really well. So hopefully a few more years left.
Oh, I think so. Yes, I think so. So now, Martin Berry is really feeling the pressure of Naveen Rao behind him. Naveen Rao perhaps has been a little bit more conservative in terms of not pushing his tyres too much. And in the second half of this race, which we're reaching right now, perhaps Naveen Rao is going to be able to try and provoke a mistake from Martin Berry then and make it to North American drivers P1 and P2. So certainly different lines through that turn there, as all over the back of Martin Berry. Naveen Rao is now. Both the drivers were up on the stage last night being presented with awards, and healthy competition between the two of them, but it is the pride of the regions up for grabs around the final turn, running downhill, and then this long start-finish straight where Naveen Rao will try and get close enough to get a toe off the Martin Berry car ahead, but I don't think he is close enough to be able to do that. So the live gap between them then, you can see how close it is, and Naveen Rao taking just a little bit more out of Martin Berry on that last lap, but as he takes a bold dive down the inside. Now that was very, very good awareness from Martin Berry, who gets the undercut now and is able to switch back and get underneath him. This is a fantastic fight for P2, James.
What a move. He came from miles back. Amazing.
Oh no! We've got one of the cars out, the 708 car of John Boyd, which elevates Holger Hansson, but John Boyd, the Ferrari of Denver car, is out now. Dependent on where that is, but let's cross back to this P2 battle that's going on, because Martin Berry was about to turn in, then realised that if he did turn in, that was full of the Naveen Rao car, the gap that he wanted to turn into, and he did well to avoid a little touch between the two of them. But of course, Naveen Rao just was not able to, he was carrying too much into the turn, wasn't he? Went in too deep.
Yeah, a bit too deep, probably got a little bit of understeer, therefore he was able to cut back again. But yeah, good respect from both drivers there. That could have easily turned into tears. So
yes, you're right.
Yeah.
And of course, this is all playing into the hands of Joseph Rubo, who is able to escape up the road by some 1.8 seconds at the moment. So Martin Berry remains ahead of Naveen Rao, but he knows that Naveen Rao means business here and just seems to have a little bit more across his 458 than perhaps Martin Berry does at the moment. Here's a replay of it from a long way back then, up the inside. And I have to say, I think that was really, really good awareness from Martin Berry, who avoided a touch there, but of course was able to just get underneath the car and retain that P2 position, which for milliseconds he'd lost. But look how close they are now, and this time he will be getting a toe. Surely he's close enough, James.
Yeah, he's got a great toe. Let's see which way he's going to go.
But there's a yellow flag at turn 1.
Of course, yeah.
So he's going to have to dial out of that, isn't he?
Let's see how long this yellow flag is out for. He's obviously much quicker, so let's see if he can make a move elsewhere on the track. Obviously very difficult.
It is hard, isn't it, James, to pick your spot.
It's difficult here, as we said earlier, with the high-speed corners. There's no real stop-go corners where it's easy to overtake. So you either got to put the guy under huge pressure or kind of just do a last of the late breakers, which is what we saw earlier.
Yes. Well, Martin Berry seems to be wise to it, and at the moment is coping with everything all okay, but Naveen Rao then, who is running in P3 at the moment, certainly pushing Martin Berry, and Martin Berry really on his mettle in terms of defensive driving and making sure he's putting his 458 Evo in exactly the position that he needs to prevent Naveen Rao from being able to come through. Been some bold efforts from Naveen Rao, and I have to say, I think, had it not been for the yellow flag, around turn 1, we would have seen an overtake for sure, because he was certainly close enough to Martin Berry to be able to make it work, I would have thought. Now, for my money, it looks like Joseph Rubo is slowing, because the gap has come down significantly.
Yeah, so quite interesting. Maybe if he hasn't got a problem, maybe he's just slowing down for the yellow flag more than the others.
Maybe so.
Maybe so, but seems to be quite slow.
Naveen then taking another look at Martin Berry.
Putting him under lots of pressure there, which is good. But again, the yellow flag I see is still out into turn 1, which is unfortunate. He's
got to get the job done before he gets to the yellow flag, and that isn't going to happen, truthfully. So Martin Berry then, and the yellow flag has gone now, so Naveen can try and do it now, but I reckon he probably dialed out of it, thinking that it was going to be the yellow flag around that turn number 1, and he wouldn't be able to do it, so perhaps a missed opportunity there. I was quite concerned that the Joseph Rubo car appeared to have lost some of the margin, and perhaps you're right, James, that it just eased off more for the yellow flag than perhaps the other drivers had done as well. We'll keep an eye on the lap times, but certainly last lap around he was 57s, whereas both Berry and Rao were in the 56s, so we'll just keep an eye. At the moment it looks like he's okay through sector 1. He's perhaps a couple of tenths down on Martin Berry, but that's all. So we're into the final third of the race, and just under 10 minutes remaining, and Naveen Rao then is the one that's pushing Martin Berry very, very hard indeed. Tyre degradation will perhaps begin to play a part now as we get the final third of this, get into the final third of this race. So it's Martin Berry then for Asia Pacific, who's currently P2. Naveen Rao then for North America. And the race being led by a North American driver, Joseph Rubo. 2 European drivers are running P4 and P5. That's Galabata and Holger Hansson. So through the chicane, both cars go. This is the battle that we're watching for P2. And Joseph Rubo then. Once again, Naveen Rao. There's a little touch there. They do touch, and, well, I'm sorry, I don't think that was ever on there.
No, that was kind of 0 to 0 in my eyes, but luckily both cars still on track. We'll just have to see if there's any damage there, which it looks like both cars might be okay, which is at least something. Safety car, I see.
Now, where on the track and why is that? Kaminsky somewhere, perhaps, who was running in P12, but okay, just in the Naveen Rao setup to that we can see that the 886 car of Min Xiao has gone around, and presumably, whether that was the reason for the safety car or whether that was no, that's the reason why. It's the Kaminsky car then that is beached there in the gravel trap, and that car is going to have to be recovered. So let's just talk through that Naveen Rao overtake on Martin Berry. Oh no, Holger Hansson in the pit lane as well. You know, Yes, Martin Berry had left a little bit of a gap, hadn't he? But it wasn't a 4.58 wide gap quite.
No, it was a bit ambitious from Raul, and as you saw, they made contact. You can see here. Yeah,
he'd lost the back end of the car as well.
Lost the back end of the car, and it was a move which wasn't into the corner. It was a move kind of mid-corner, which you'd expect the other car to kind of turn in anyway. So a little bit ambitious, but you know, both cars on track. Let's see if the stewards investigate this. From that angle, it doesn't look as bad.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It looked like the gap was bigger from that angle, to be honest. Well, clearly 6 of one, half a dozen the other, depending on which way you look at it. Now, this is the reason then that the 771 car went around.
He was hit.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Well, Min Xiao certainly making contact with the Kaminsky car. Good avoidance, it has to be said there, by James Wong. So the incident involving cars 764 and 888 is under investigation. Well, that's the incident we've just seen, and there we can see why Holger Harmsen was in the pit lane then. A punctured tyre. Now, we haven't seen enough of Holger Harmsen out there on track, but your tyres become a little bit more vulnerable, don't they, James, the more curbs you take? Yeah,
that's true. Something we're told in the long endurance races is just to avoid the curbs, just to prevent any punctures like that. It's a difficult thing. It can happen at any time. You can be unfortunate. You've also got a really high speed entry into at the end of the straight here, which puts a lot of pressure on the tyres. So that, or he could have had contact. We don't know, but yeah, very unfortunate to see.
So we're looking at the show cam right now. So watching the show cam then, and we're watching the Octane 126 team there, and Sylvia, the head of PR for Octane 126, and there you can see the coordinator from one of the regions. So at the moment it's North America P1 and P2. We're under the control of the safety car here at the Mugello circuit. Joseph Rubo leading, Naveen Rao with a fairly physical move on Martin Berry has found himself P2, which at the moment we're not seeing anything that suggests that that's under investigation. So Martin Berry then relegated to P3, and the safety car is coming in this lap. So Rubo, Rao, Berry, and the best of the European drivers is Galip Attar. We saw that Holger Harmsen was in the pit lane with a puncture, unfortunately. That's relegated him to P14. And there's just an example of the passion that you said, James, exists here at Mugello.
Yeah, well, the Tifosi, it's amazing. It's amazing to come here in Italy and see all this. It's driving down the straight, you really can. It really gives you confidence. You can see them. It feels more special, and it's great to see. I mean, it's only 9:30 in the morning here, yes. so it's definitely going to be a busy day today.
Right, we're standing by for the safety car to be released. Joseph Rubo is going to come under pressure from Naveen Rao. We've already seen how keen he is. Galip Attar will want to be keen on the podium as well. It's going to be a last couple of laps dash really to the checkered flag, because the safety car intervention has meant, with, as you can see from the clock at the top of the screen, as they cross the timing line, it's going to be literally 3 minutes, which is maybe going to be 2 laps of racing to come. So Joseph Rubo really needs to be on the metal here, and under pressure also is Martin Berry for P3, because Galip Attar anticipated when Martin Berry was going to go for it, and this restart following the safety car phase then. Drive-through penalty for car number 764 has been awarded following the incident earlier on. So they make their way through turn number 1. So Naveen Rao can sense the opportunity of a P1 position here, and of course Galipatar can sense the opportunity of being on the podium in the final race of the season, the world final race for the 458 cars. Martin Berry, who'd done such a good job in P2, now finds himself in P3 and under pressure from Galipatar, the Turkish racing driver who's running in P4, and the best of the European 458 drivers at the moment. P1 and P2 is with the North American series. Joseph Rubo leading Naveen Rao, and in fairness, Joseph Rubo has got up the road by 5/10 from Naveen Rao, and Martin Berry now is just building up a little bit of a margin over Galipatar as well.
It's Rao that's got the drive-through, from what I can see here, in P2. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're absolutely right. I didn't pick that up. So,
yeah,
so that will be for that incident.
That'll be for the incident. So it's actually Berry, probably in P2, theoretically.
And Galipatar will be on the podium then.
Will be on the podium at the moment.
So well done. Thanks for picking that up, James. So here's Galipatar then, who probably doesn't want to push too hard here because Naveen Rao with that drive-through penalty for the contact on Martin Berry as he tried to get past Martin Berry to occupy that P2 place, but Galipatar is still going for it here in the Octane 126458. He will now surely get a toe off the Martin Berry car. Naveen Rao comes in for his drive-through penalty, so now this is the real race. Martin Berry now is P2, Galipatar is P3, Joseph Rubo is up the road, we're on the last lap. Naveen Rao then takes his drive-through penalty. His race completely compromised by a perhaps too ambitious effort to get past Martin Berry. So it's as they were then, or a slight mistake there as the back end of the Martin Berry car steps out a little bit, allows Galipatar to get ever closer. So Galipatar then, who has raced all season long in Europe in this 458 Evo car, to great success it has to be said. He's taken the 458 championship, is hounding Martin Berry now as they're on the final lap of this race. Joseph Rubo, barring any disaster, has got it all under control because he's a couple of seconds up the road from Martin Berry and Galipatar, because of course the more they fight, these two fight, just plays into the hands of Joseph Rubo, who is able to open up that gap, but Martin Berry appears also to have it all under control as well from Galipatar. He certainly tried as they started the final lap, but legs are just not there to be able to do it. So at the moment, Martin Berry looks reasonably comfortable. Joseph Rubo certainly so, and Galipatar is far enough ahead of Paredes Arroyo to hopefully take that P3 position. Oh, as he closes up now to Martin Berry. And this will be great for the championship as they go through the chicane, because we're going to see every region represented on the podium, which we couldn't write the script any better, truthfully. So for North America then, Joseph Rubo rounds the final turn and will head towards the checkered flag and will take the world final race. He flashes his lights in anticipation in the 458 Evo. The last time we'll see it in a Ferrari Challenge weekend. Joseph Rubo wins from Martin Berry. Galipatar, Paredes Arroyo takes P4. Then it's going to be Chen. It's Wong just ahead of Chen. And then it's Locke and Wong and Lisa Clark, who will take P9. And Tomatsu Kondo makes it back to P10 following his drive-through penalty. And Octane 126 with Christian Birchinger, the team principal. Pretty happy with that. It's been a good weekend for them. So that's it. The first of 3 world final races done and dusted. Holger Harmsen did make it back out following his puncture and takes P11. James Collado, as always, a big thank you to you for being part of our on-air experience in that 458 World Final. We look forward to seeing you back out there on the track this afternoon.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much. See you later.
Cheers, James.
Cheers.
So, all our GT drivers with very heavy schedules. James taking time to be with us on the air for that World Final race, which has been won by Joseph Rubo. Martin Berry takes P2. Galipatar then takes P3. Now, if we pick up the Galipatar car as it is on its slowing down lap, I feel sure the Turkish flag will be flying out of the driver's window. Some of the spectators there who have two-legged and four, it has to be said, who have enjoyed that 458 World Final, which did have some drama in it, that's for sure. And Joseph Rubo then for North America takes the win from Martin Berry for Asia Pacific and Galipatar for Europe. Naveen Rao, incidentally, following the drive-through penalty, did make it back out, P12. So the cars will all be headed into Parc Fermé now. And their confirmation of the result, Joseph Rubo taking the win from Martin Berry and Galipatar. Then it was Paradise Roya, Wong Chen Lok, Wong Kondo, and Holger Hansen rounding out the top 10. So who's missing from that? According to our timing screen, it was Lisa Clark that took P9. So the graphics on screen are different to what we're seeing on our timing screen. So it's over the lower places, it has to be said, but nonetheless, just wanted to point that out to you. Joseph Rubo then has done enough. He is the world champion. That is pretty happy about it too. Steady up there, friend. Well done, Joseph Rubo. Gets a helping hand down from the car and embraces our cameraman. Just what he didn't want. So North America.
Well done, mate. Well done.
From Asia Pacific, from Europe.
The guy from US that was killed.
Here then a highlights wrap of the race then, and as they headed towards the timing line and the lights went green, the race for the first gold roof across this weekend was on. It was the 458 Evo cars that were contesting their first and final race in the Ferrari Challenge. It is for the World Championship title, the world final race. Well, a number of the cars in the early stages of the race ran wide and kicked up a bit of dust, but Joseph Rubo had got it all completely under control, unlike Naveen Rao, who tried to get past Martin Berry for the first time and it failed, went too deep into the corner and Martin Berry was able to come back. That was the battle that was going on for P2, and the battle would rage through the final turn with this move, which unfortunately meant that Martin Berry did lose out his P2 position and Naveen Rao went through to P2, but not for long because a drive-through penalty would relegate him. This was a attempt by Min Xiao to move up the order. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to work, and Kaminsky ending up beached meant a late safety car. But despite the safety car restart, Joseph Rubo had it all under control and took the checkered flag. And we couldn't have written it any better because all three regions represented on the podium. North America with Joseph Rubo the winners, and you can see just how happy he was. Martin Berry for Asia Pacific P2 and Galipatar for Europe P3. So the main grandstand there, filling up with spectators. We're still early. It's 9:30, or actually it's 20 to 10 local time here in Mugello. Lots of racing still to come, and we'll be heading up to see our first podium of the weekend in but a few moments from now. So podium awaits then, and we will be seeing Joseph Rubo, Martin Berry and Galipatar up there on the podium. Magnificent banner, it has to be said. And magnificent number of people that are making their way into the grandstands. A number of the seats, of course, have been taken away from availability pertaining to the banner that is there. Michele Mambrelli is our trackside presenter who will be bringing us the podium. As soon as Joseph Rubo, Martin Berry and Galipatar have been taken up the couple of staircases, the podium is situated literally just to the right-hand side of our commentary booth here on the main straight in the Mugello circuit. So Some good words for Sylvia to write then in the Octane 126 release. It says that Galapatar has finished the season on a high by taking P3 in the World Finals. There we can see the Martin Berry car, who for Asia Pacific has taken P2. And Joseph Rubo, of course, will be on the top step of the podium for North America, having taken the race win. And looked very comfortable in so doing during the course of that 458 World Final race. World Final races still to come for the Copa Shell class of the Ferrari Challenge in the 488 GTE, and also for Trofeo Pirelli as well. So, top three then. Here's Galapatar then for Europe. P2 for Martin Berry, representing Asia Pacific. And then for North America, taking the win, is Joseph Rubo in the 728 car. Ferrari of Long Island, the team that Joseph Rubo represents. And Joseph Rubo on the top step of the podium shortly. And that is Lisa Clark, the best of the ladies. Well, only one. Ferrari Beverly Hills, winner of the ladies 458 World Final, and finishing a very creditable P9 according to our timing screen. It wasn't the case on the graphics, but there we have it. So we await the podium, and everyone assembled just below the podium in the pit lane, as you can see, to cheer for our first World Final winners, who will be up there on the podium in just moments from now. All the information, of course, races.ferrari.com. That's the website for you to find out everything about the Ferrari Challenge, including the magnificent calendar for 2018. Michele Mambrelli then to the right-hand side of the podium is the presenter, who's bringing out the drivers now. Galapatar without his Turkish flag. Never known it. Here comes Martin Berry then, P2. And then on the top step of the podium, Joseph Rubo. And the best of the ladies, Lisa Clark.
Il nostro applauso per questo podio dei vincitori con I trofei d'onore presentati.
Okay, here comes the trophy presentations. Olivia Beretta then, who's making the trophy presentation first of all to Galapatar. Another trophy to take back to his trophy cabinet. James Collado, who was with us just a few moments ago, has been hustled into podium duties as well for Martin Berry, who takes P2. And Andrea Bertolini then, who makes the winner's trophy presentation to Joseph Rubo. And Lisa Clark then will receive her trophy from Olivia Beretta. And Stephen Rowe from Pirelli, as opposed to Teo Meyer, who's busy in the paddock. So Stephen Rowe makes the Pirelli trophy to Joseph Rubo. That's an impressive trophy, isn't it?
E questo è il podio dei vincitori.
So everyone together on the podium.
Together on the first step.
And here comes Mugello then trying to hustle them all onto the first step of the podium.
With your trophy, and please, drivers, lift your trophy up, lift and smile for the photographs and TV compound.
Bless Michele, he tries so hard to orchestrate the podium.
Anche Marta e Martina sul podio, grazie ragazze. Adesso salutiamo, ci allontaniamo leggermente e è la festa del podio con lo champagne. Clicco!
Where's Gallup gone? Come on, friend. You should be taking part in this. So the champagne. Oh. Rubo having it out of the boot. So there we have it then, the first world final done and dusted. And the support there for the...
That was fantastic.
So that's just about it. We're going to leave you with a highlight clip and then thank you very much for watching the 458 World Final. So the emotions play out here in Mugello. Join us for the next World Final race. Bye-bye.